who's the person that is responsible for covering the $7,500? Okay, your daughter. Okay, is your daughter in a position where if she had to tomorrow, could she come out of pocket the $7,500? If I get a yes, now I'm taking away the sale. Where's her pain? If she has a solution, then there's no pain. So I have to take the sale away. I have to say, well, that's great, Mildred, that your daughter can cover $7,500, but if she can cover that for you, I guess, why the need for any kind of life insurance? Bingo. And the next words that come out of her mouth is her pain, and she's sold herself. If she combats that and doubles down and says, this is why it's not okay for my daughter to do this, she has just sold herself, and that's the true pain. Whatever you do, you have to get down to the brass tacks always and find the pain. Once I found the pain, I'm doubling down again.
On our last interview, I learned a lot about this agent, and I had to do this again. This time I want to dig a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about the sales presentation. With that being said, Ashely Mullinix, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be back. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, let's do that. If you don't mind sharing maybe a little bit about your presentation, I would say even if you, I don't know, if you want to do role playing or something, just like maybe get into a little bit about the beginning of your presentation and what it's doing.
Sure. Yeah, no, 1,000%. I think the introduction of a call is primarily where I see a lot of agents falter, right? They lose opportunity because, the front end is just kind of a cluster.
Life insurance agents, if you'd like 20 life insurance appointments on your calendar every single day, all set by the clients themselves who expect to speak with you about burial life insurance, or if you'd like a copy of the free new agent remote sales file, lots of killer sales materials here, email me at doug@ufesonline.com or just click on the link below in the description.
I would definitely say knowing objections, huge. And is crucial. When I first started, I did not have my objections embedded into the script that I was using. And so when I would get objections, I was fumbling at my desk looking for like another sheet of paper. What is that objection? How do I handle it? And if you are not Johnny on the spot, and if you can't like cut Mildred off on that last word to handle the objection, you're going to lose the call every time. So first big tip, whatever script that you are using, my script I have in purple, the objections embedded, so you can quickly revert to them. But that's a big area where I see agents lose opportunity is they are not fast enough with front-end objections. So if we want, we can go there. I can also tell you in the front end of the script, a big thing that not everyone agrees with. I go against the grain a little bit on it, but I do not believe in asking too many questions right off the bat because you have no trust. If you start asking Mildred about policies that she had, why is she looking, for the coverage, and you dive too deep into pain within the first 60 seconds of a call, you will meet sales resistance 10 out of 10 times. She has no idea who you are. You're a stranger that picked up the phone, and she's not going to want to reveal too much to you because she thinks that she doesn't know what you're going to do on the back end. To her, you're a salesperson trying to make a sale, and you might do a fast one over her. So also those types of things are something to kind of be watchful for. So with that being said, do you want me to kind of just give everyone maybe like an outline of the beginning, or
honestly, do you mind just sharing like your opener? We'll do a little role play just through that first minute. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Mind. Yeah, no, I don't mind that at all. As always, you have your script up and open next to you, and I have mine opened, and so we'll kind of role play it. So hey, Doug, this is Ashely calling you back on a recorded line with the final expense price quote you requested on Facebook, and I have you in Florida. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. And was this coverage for yourself or was this for a loved one?
Well, it's for me.
For you? Okay.
Yeah, if I do it.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all. You don't have to do anything today. Is your primary concern, though, just the final expenses? Or are you trying to leave some extra I love you money? What's your goal?
Well, Yeah, if I could leave a little extra money to my daughter, that would be cool. But really, I mean, the important thing is I just don't want her stuck with the burial stuff.
The burial stuff. Okay. Do you currently have like anything in place to help with the burial or not yet?
I don't think so. I mean, she might have something on me.
Okay. But you don't have anything in place to help with the burial.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Is there kind of a reason why you haven't put anything in place for her or?
I guess, maybe we just haven't really done it. I don't look, I'm not dying anytime soon. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then, yeah, no one's wanting to go out anytime soon. So just to kind of back up, Doug, and let you know how I do help families, it is very simple. Okay. As a broker, we're going to look at every carrier across the state. We're going to see who you're eligible for. And out of that, I can simply let you know who's giving you the best rate statewide. Would that be helpful for you?
That would be helpful. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to
No.
stop because I don't want you to give it all away.
Yeah.
Because that's awesome. That's a great open. And I did throw in a little, I'm like trying to think of objections. It's hard to think like a client when you're not.
Yes. Yeah. No. And you didn't really throw out any objections. But what I do want to highlight though, too, for agents is whenever you're met with anything, whenever Mildred throws in an extra, acknowledge what they're saying, right? So like when you said, yeah, but I'm not like going to do anything. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to do anything. By saying that little tidbit and responding back to what you said, I'm lowering sales resistance. I do not enter into my calls expecting a sale. I enter into my calls expecting to come up alongside Mildred and help her find a solution to her problem. She may not even have a problem. She might have too much coverage. She may not, I don't know. So your goal is to lower sales resistance, but acknowledge, because if you don't repeat back the things that are said to you, you're not actively listening and it's going to rub Mildred the wrong way. So even those little quips, and you don't know them until you're actually practicing and role playing with someone, but that's what I do. I repeat back, I acknowledge it, and then I ask the next question. I'm always asking the next question in my script to move it forward. Now, another thing that I want to take away is you had told me that you have your daughter might have a plan in place, but I verified that you don't have anything in place because you're the one that clicked on my ad. You're the one with the pain looking for the burial, regardless of whether or not your daughter does or she doesn't, whatever that situation is. I'm not stopping right now to ask you a zillion and one questions. Okay, with, well, what your daughter has, how much coverage is that? Why is it important for her to have it? Why don't you have it? I'm not asking those questions yet because I will trigger sales resistance 10 out of 10 times. Instead, I am writing notes down. And my goal, I view this like a poker match. Okay, I've never played poker before, but I view it as a poker match. So the entire time that I'm going through my script, my goal is to see every single card in your hand, in Mildred's hand. Okay, I want to know absolutely everything without revealing any card in my hand. So that at the end of the call, when we fold, which is when I give you quotes, I know that I have the upper hand. So the only way that I can reveal every card in Mildred's hand is to ask as many pressing questions and use those cards to insert certain points of my script. So I would not bring up that again until I'm trying to figure out how much the burial is going to cost you. I'm in the logical base part of my script. And now I'm asking you, okay, well, with what your daughter has, what is that? What is it? How long have you had that? Now I'm asking all the questions, but I'm not doing it in the introduction.
Okay. And that's what I was going to ask, because I'm curious, because I know that people will do that. They'll fill out the form, they'll request the insurance,
right,
and then they'll say, well, my daughter has it taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Which is a smokescreen. It's an objection, because if the daughter had it taken care of, then you wouldn't click on it. So my job is to figure out, why are you clicking on it? Right? That's what I have. That's why I get paid so well, is to figure out why you clicked on it.
Nice. Okay. You said something earlier and I'm like, ooh, let me kind of ask you about this. Cause look, different agencies use different terminology. We all use a little bit different methods and terminology. You mentioned the term pain point. Can you talk about that? What is this pain point?
The pain point is essentially I'm trying to remember do you remember where I was saying the pain point?
You just mentioned it slightly, like when we first started talking, and you didn't really get into it. But I've heard, in the trainings that you're doing, that I'm very happy to be a part of. By the way, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I've heard we've talked about that, so that's why I kind of want to get the viewers to get an idea of what this pain point thing is and the importance of addressing it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So if there is no pain, there is never a sale. Right. And so the pain part of a presentation, this is the emotional part of the presentation. This is where you're asking uncomfortable questions. And it is your job as an agent to get comfortable asking uncomfortable questions. Right. And these are questions like, once we go through the logic, we understand Mildred's situation. Now we're going to regurgitate it back to her. Okay, so who's the person that is responsible for covering the $7,500? Okay, your daughter. Okay, is your daughter in a position where if she had to tomorrow, could she come out of pocket the $7,500? If I get a yes, now I'm taking away the sale. Where's her pain? If she has a solution, then there's no pain. So I have to take the sale away. I have to say, well, that's great, Mildred, that your daughter can cover $7,500, but if she can cover that for you, I guess, why the need for any kind of life insurance? Bingo. And the next words that come out of her mouth is her pain, and she's sold herself. If she combats that and doubles down and says, this is why it's not okay for my daughter to do this, she has just sold herself, and that's the true pain. Whatever you do, you have to get down to the brass. Have you talked to your daughter about this situation? What does that look like? How would you feel knowing that this was just taken care of for her? Like, you have to live in the pain and paint the picture and then regurgitate everything back to her. And that's where, like, you will make the sale before you even quote. At the end of pain, Mildred will know if she wants to buy or not.
That's awesome. I'm taking a note, because that is a great opener for this video. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Ashely, you are the owner of a very interesting business, which you don't see this a lot, Amplify Life. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is? And then I'm going to ask you some questions on onboarding.
Sure. Yeah. So Amplify Life is a mentorship program at its core. I've coined myself, should I say, hashtag the agent's mentor. I find that there's a lot of gaps in the industry. A lot of agents come in, and they have this hope and this dream. They see a vision for themselves, and then they're linked up with an IMO or an MLM, and they're struggling, and they don't have mentorship. They don't have guidance. And so what Amplify Life is now is that bridge, is that mentorship program. So no matter an IMO, no matter your upline, no matter who you are or where you came from in this industry, I have a proven system and a track record of doing something that is wash, rinse, repeatable, and scalable that I am now just teaching agents. And so that's what Amplify. It's a mentorship program for all agents from all IMOs. No matter where you're at, you can get the help that you need.
I love it. Okay. So I've just found out about you. Mentorship. I'm interested. What's the onboarding thing like?
Yeah. So onboarding, it's pretty simple and streamlined. Once you get in, you have complete access to my entire training library. I go step by step. I break down my script so you understand. It's not enough to read the words on the script. You need to understand what you're trying to get out of the situation. I walk you through underwriting. I have a goal setter. You'll know exactly how many sales you need a week to hit your actual goals. I have a tracker that I built out myself. I teach you how to track your business, because we are business owners. We do not run this like a hobby. Like everything that it is the Chick-fil-A version or the McDonald's assembly line version of the life insurance business. You will know everything you need to do. I have videos on there of all the way down to what tabs you need to have open when you're doing your daily activity, what you're looking at, what kind of equipment and tools do you need to go about your day. Everything you need to know, instantly accessible to you inside the mentorship program. I then also have live training calls where exactly kind of what I was doing with you, Doug. We role play with agents, we do call reviews, and then lifetime access and updates to all of it. So whenever there's an update or whenever anything changes, all of the agents inside the mentorship program constantly get updates. So it's really kind of like a one-stop, everything that you need in one place.
Okay. So training Monday through Friday.
Not for everyone.
What time does this start? And can you walk me through the day?
Yes. So with the Amplify membership, there is a bi-weekly live call. There is a monthly membership for agents who want access to my coaching Monday through Friday, an hour a day, and it's all hands on deck. So if you're really serious about wanting to get trained in mentorship and daily accountability, that is a monthly membership to be a part of the Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday is 9 to 10 Central. The beginning part of the call is like a quick 10-15 minute open Q&A. So if you've had struggles on the call the day before, if you came into an underwriting issue, or if you have questions on anything, really, I'm there live to help assist you to get your answers question quickly so you can move on about your day. And then the rest of the time we are doing call reviews and we're role playing to sharpen your sword.
Wow. A lot. That's awesome. All right. I want to switch gears a little bit. And this is something you and I have never, I mean, we've had great conversations. We talk about a lot of things. You and I have never really talked about this. Okay. So I'm really not sure what kind of an answer or how you're going to react. So look, I know this is my perspective of most IMOs. What happens is, you know, we recruit an agent, the agent comes on board, and we're really limited on how much training we can afford to give to this agent. I mean, look, if I'm giving an agent, and I also know stuff that other agencies will not talk about, failure rates for new agents are higher than success rates.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially much higher. So that's one of the reasons. What I'm getting at is a lot of agencies, we you know, they just can't afford to have their own in-house training system or trainer that does anything what you do. So they have this basic stuff. So to me, for an agent that's going to come on board and maybe really is serious about working with someone like you, here's the part that you're not expecting. What kind of starting commission levels should that agent really be seeing? Like from at least what to what, if they're, you know, they're spending all this money to get access to the type of training that you do at Amplify Life?
Yeah. So with the training, just so I want to make sure that I understand the question. So with Amplify, I'm not recruiting, so I don't have comp structure. I'm not, you know, that's not my role to help serve agents at the capacity they need to. But if the question is, as an agent, what is a fair comp that like a brokering agent, right? This is the question. Okay. So
that is the question.
I was making sure I understood that.
And I think, you know, the reason I ask it that way is I'm giving you a second to think about your answers, because I know you work with different agents that are, you know, part of different IMOs and different agencies. And, you know, you don't want to offend anybody, but I'm the transparent guy. So I'm going to ask you for the truth.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. You know, so I have seen a lot of comp structures. I've had a lot of different comp structures. I've also onboarded agents at different comp structures, and I've seen it play out. Most definitely, a lot of these IMOs are saying 80% is great. 80%, especially as a super green thumb agent, is not great. It's not awesome. Like your goal is to get as close to 100%, even as a green agent, as humanly possible, because you can grow from there. Now, I'm not saying as a super green agent, you should expect 120 comp. No, like you should be able to have a skill set to be able to expect a comp of 120 or even a comp of 130 that is accessible to agents as well. But you can't start out there. But I also don't recommend you start at like an 80%. Most definitely don't recommend you to start at like a 65%, which I know there are a lot of 3-letter IMOs, even long letter, you know, IMOs that will start new agents off, and they paint a picture and they do the math and they pitch it like it is profitable. And I'm here to tell you, as a brokering agent buying leads and running the business model, it is not. You will not gain the momentum that you need at a 65% comp. Even at an 80% comp, you will struggle. You will struggle.
Bingo. And I think a lot of the MLMs, they do the carrot on the stick. They get it out there. They're like, look, we're just going to start you at 80. But once you make insert number, insert amount of sales, insert production, we're going to move you up to 90. And then we'll do it again once you insert the number again to 100. So I feel like a lot of agencies do that. All right. So what you're saying is, at United Final Expense Services, the fact that I'm starting my agents at 110, even some of the carriers at 120, is pretty cool.
Oh, 1,000%. Now, yeah, that is an amazing place to start. I would
self plug. I admit it. Okay.
Shameless plug. No, 100%. That's honestly what's fair, right? I mean, you come into this industry, you're learning a skill set. What you do is not easy. It is simple. The process is simple, but it's not easy. And you're going to eat grass, meaning you will get kicked in the back. You will eat dirt and eat grass hard when you first get on your phone calls. Like, this is not, there's so much to learn and there's so much you don't know. And here's also why I'm so passionate about being the agent's mentor, is because you come into this industry and you are told to buy leads and go dial. And outside of that, you're just on a hope and a prayer that something sticks and that you figure it out, because you see all these agents around you who have figured it out. And you're like, okay, there's a me problem there, but it's not necessarily a you problem. It's a system is against you problem, because the uplines, their job is to recruit and recruit, because there's a whole nother game in this industry when you are building an agency. It is another business model, and it is all time consuming. There are so many variables to learn. There's so much to handle and manage, and you take on so much risk. And in that risk, you have to run this business model. And unfortunately, agents get like lost in the sauce, the downstream, especially in these massive MLMs. Like, there's no guidance, there's no structure, there's no assembly line version of anything. You're told just to go figure it out. And that's where agents fail. And that's like the gap in the industry that I'm so passionate about filling, because there is an assembly line model. Like, this is wash, rinse, and repeatable. This is something that if you have a drive and you show up and you are coachable and you are trainable and you don't think that don't reinvent the wheel. Like, if you're willing to come in and learn the thing and put skin in the game and eat dirt and get back up and eat dirt again, eventually this becomes very easy and it actually becomes fun. Like, I've had agents go like, man, in the beginning 3 months ago, Ashely, this sucked. But boy, that call was fun. I'm going to go find another sale, because once it starts clicking, it's not right away. It will click, but you need that mentorship. You need the accountability. You need to come to daily coaching calls. You know, it's funny too, Doug, and I don't mean to go on like a long tangent here, but I have literally talked to other massively large agency owners in the industry, and they have told me, like, you just train too much. I have been told, like, you provide too much.
You told me about that. I remember that.
You do too much. You pour into them too much. Your focus is on the wrong thing. You need to just go build out the model. And it's that model that everyone builds out. That's the model that I was getting lost in. I didn't actually gain traction for 7 months. I don't know. I must be so stubborn. I was in the red. I wasn't making sales. I literally, my 7th month in, it was a July, almost 3 years ago now, I had 28 people tell me I want to think about it. It had taken me 4 months to get to the point where I could actually keep people on the phone long enough for me to get them to quote. 28 people, one after another, same objection. I want to think about it. I want to think about it. I want to think about it. And I'm going, what is this? Because where I was at, it was like an MLM, but where I was at, everyone was winning. They were winning the trips. They were doing the thing. And I'm like, people are making money. How? I don't have training. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I don't know. And that's the gap in the industry. You need mentorship.
And I think a lot of it, excuse me. So one thing that I've learned is that a lot of this is not accurate. And when I say this, the stuff that we're seeing in the Facebook groups, the stuff that we're seeing in the marketing. So here, I'll give you an example without calling anybody out. I've learned to be careful about that because these are my constituents. There are two people right now that I am seeing all over the place and all over social media that are talking about these huge numbers. And I know it's not true. I don't know because of intuition. I know because I see who they're working with and exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is nonsense. And I think the big fail in our industry is that, and I hate to say this, is that most agencies and most of the life insurance agencies, they recruit with a little misleading information. They throw everybody against the wall, so to speak. You've heard that term, and they see what sticks, and what sticks is very little. Meanwhile, you're seeing stuff and hearing stuff from people that isn't quite accurate. Here, I'll give you another example. The first time I went to, and I'm calling these guys out because I really don't care. They started a war with me over 10 years ago. The Alliance, National Agents Alliance. So I went to them because they were advertising leads. They had these amazing leads, and the commission was really low. And I kind of realized that, but I also knew I was one of the people that sell on the high end. You know, I was one of those people that I can make it work. The problem was, well, first of all, I won't get into the leads. The leads they never had. The exclusive leads and the contracting, I did all that and they wouldn't release my contract. That's what started the war, by the way, guys. You did that if you're the Alliance watching that. You're the reason I'm bringing you up. But here's the worst part. So I go to Burlington, North Carolina for one of their meetings. I wanted training. That's not what this was. So I drive from Florida there for training.
Yeah.
And of course, it's this meeting and they've got these gentlemen that they're parading in front of, men and women, these success stories. And so this one gentleman talks about the success story about how he was basically broken. He was on his way out. And I've heard this. I have a similar story, actually, where he was on his way out and he invested everything in it and he figured it out and made it work. And then afterwards, he and I were talking, and I remember what he was telling me was basically by him making it work, he was able to just get by and pay his bills. So he just gave us this speech of hope that made it sound like, hey, you can go from rags to riches. And then off camera, so to speak, off the stage, he told me that basically they're barely getting by. And I just felt like, wow, this is the pressure that these uplines are giving these agents. They're pushing them to be part of these group meetings, to be part of these, these things where they do to help recruit agents. And I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of it is just not accurate information. It's maybe some of it's partially true, but it's this much manipulation. And so recently, I'll give you another, and hope you don't mind. I'm kind of going on a little bit because
this is 100% accurate. What you're saying is true. I've witnessed it.
I recently decided, hey, I want to start a second company, because if you guys come to United Final Expense Services, my main concentration is always the agent. It's not teaching the agent how to build a downline. It's primarily, I want to teach you how to sell. And then later, if you want to build an agency, I'll teach you how. So what I started doing is thinking, well, what if I start a second company? Because some agents call me and the first thing they ask is, can I have a downline? Like they've already gone through some of this brainwashing that we just talked about, and they're thinking that's the way to go. Yeah. So I start this company and I start speaking with different companies that, big companies that you guys have all heard of. And I get into this conversation with this one. I'm having multiple conversations. And at the end of the day, the more conversations I'm having with them, the more I'm realizing I'm being manipulated. A lot of this information's not really accurate. And so push comes to shove, I never really did it. Here we are, you and I are speaking here middle of November, and I'm still just concentrating on United Final Expense Services. But my point being is, this is the biggest fail in our industry. And guys, forgive me for going on and on about this, but most agencies they're going to recruit you they're going to make it sound like it's something that it's not. And then you're going to find out the hard way what reality is.
Mm-hmm.
And that stinks. That's the one thing that I like about, what we do at my agency. I feel like I'm being as honest as possible. I always tell my agents, before you come on board, go to my website. I got a bunch of testimonials of active producers. Google me. I've got real Google reviews.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to find something negative about me because, at the end of the day, when there's an issue, I always try to fix it. And like a lot of these agencies, they don't like to release agents. So we've all had issues with that before. That's all I'm going to say, but it comes down to that. And I've never had that issue with an agent. When an agent doesn't want to be with me, I'm like, please, I hope the next place works out. Yeah. And it's funny because I've had a lot of agents go and then come back. I've had multiple agents go, come back, go, come back over and over that still want to try that shiny thing and see if it's better, only to find out that the reality kicks in. And my transparency, it probably cost us agents, but at the end of the day, it's better than just being manipulated. Sorry about that long-winded thing.
Well, and that's the truth too, though, because I've had a lot of conversations with agents too, who, are even in my mentorship program right now. I think we had a conversation just like 2 weeks about this. Someone had saw something on YouTube and they were like, wow, Ashely, look at this. And it's like, well, hold on, let's back up. So I know that person and I know what's behind the curtain. Okay. So, even in my mentorship program, this is like something, obviously when you're on YouTube, you don't name names. You got to be like, I don't want whatever they call a non-disclosure. I've never cease and desist, or I don't know what they call it. I don't want whatever it is.
You don't want that. You don't want to cease and desist.
Yeah, right. I don't want whatever that thing is. But yes, in this industry, there is a whatever you see online, it is an inflated number. Like, for example, I've known producers who have been on YouTube channels who have boasted 96,000 in AP a month on their own pen. And that same producer, I know behind the scenes, rammed a bunch of bad business. I've heard that producer on their calls, horrible presentations, skipped through underwriting to the point where even with some carriers, you're on a recorded line and submitting these recorded calls to the carrier. I'm like, you didn't even ask the medical questions, but they're doing it because they get these dopamine drops from being on the leaderboards, and then they get asked to be interviewed, and now they're inflating. And there's something in human nature where like the inflation of puffiness is something that is it's like organic to do for human nature. And then behind the scenes, yes, they wrote this business, but then when the first and the third comes, they're running around like a chicken with their head cut off because not even 40% of it's stuck. But then you have this video out on the internet and everyone's thinking shiny object over here. They've got the secret sauce. They've got the leads. The magic bullet is over here. This dude just did 96 in 1 month, but they don't show the aftermath or the truth that there was a lot of things that were not done the right way and then nothing stuck. And now they're trying to save the entire book of business. They also don't share with you what they actually made, right? So a lot of times it's inflated numbers. These folks aren't actually getting it. And it's not wash, rinse, and repeatable. Like there's a lot to this industry that you will learn as time goes on. But as a new agent, finding people who are essentially true. I like to tell the truth. Doug, you tell the truth. There are other brokers on there that tell the truth, right? The agency that I'm with now, they tell the truth. Then there's a lot that don't. So the thing is to find someone in the industry who is very consistent in what they do. What they say on YouTube is the same way they present themselves on Instagram. What they say on Instagram is how they treat people in the social channels of Facebook. Look for that consistency in the character and then follow up. If they have something they're telling you like this is tried and true and over again, get behind it. Follow the person with the arrows in the back and then put blinders on. Just put blinders on because there's so much noise in this industry and those shiny objects are not really that shiny.
True that.
Not that shiny.
Switching gears again, and I know you and I talked a little bit about this the last time we got together. Last time we did one of these, but I think it's important. Got to talk about leads. Yeah, perspective. You and I like to talk about this, especially because we both have the same perspective on this. What are your feelings about buying leads versus running your own ads or using like a campaign advertising manager?
Yeah. Excuse me. So I'm not a huge fan of buying third-party leads. I think that they're just really, really expensive. And as a business model, not a wise decision, right? I definitely am a big proponent of, having a marketing company manage your leads and you getting leads at cost. This is a business that you're running. You don't think that people are like the folks at Walmart, they don't buy things for inflation, an inflated price. They buy things at cost so that they have enough margin and overhead to keep the business running. That's a business. So you need to find a way to get your business at cost. And the only way to do that is to market for leads yourself. Now, what you don't want to do is become a marketer. That is a whole not like people go to university to learn how to market. Like you don't need to wear two hats. You need to get good at sales and understand the process. You need to hire a marketing company, someone who manages that for you, where you're getting exclusive leads, you're getting them in real time, and you're getting them at cost. That is how you run this business model.
Bingo. Agreed. Totally. 100%. That's why I had to bring it up.
And it's important. That's one of the number one questions I get asked all. I literally woke up to my CRM this morning. I have a CRM where agents reach out to me, right? I have all these like funnels and things going for outreach. And I literally woke up to agents asking me about leads. Like this is a question that, we could probably do a whole nother video on just leads alone because agents have a lot of questions. And again, in the industry, this is a gray area. Everyone's like boastful. We have the best leads. We have the inbound leads, hot, fresh, and exclusive. And what agents don't understand is a lead is a lead is a lead. And all these leads are coming from the same place. They're coming from the same place. Now the question is, why are some leads have a higher intent and others don't? But they both came in real time. And that's the marketing aspect. That's the aspect that you don't need to learn. You just need to get behind a marketer or, whoever's running it that knows what they're doing, right? Because you don't want a marketer that's some random agent hiding in his basement running ad sets for you and they're penny on the dollar leads because everything's free and, the government's paying for it. Like, you know what I mean? So there's a whole nother thing at play with the leads.
That's the old school lead. The direct mailer that I originally ran, when the client filled it out, they assumed that I was coming to their house to do something that was government related, state related.
That was the hook though, to get you in the door, right?
Right. It worked to get you in. And I actually did really well with that. Over the phone, that never worked then. It doesn't work today.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole lead thing has changed. I remember getting a phone call. So let's see, it had to be about 8 years ago when Facebook ads were just starting to get popular and they were just starting in insurance. And a lot of people didn't know how to do it. And so this one guy I knew for years, he was like, dude, I got this thing figured out. I want to sell them to the public. And back then you could basically what I was doing was I was offering it to my agents for $300. He would take $100, put it in his pocket, run the ads, and end up with, I'm not exaggerating, at the end of the day, the lead cost was like less than $1 each. They would get so many leads for a couple of $100. It was crazy. I know you never, this is way before you started, but that's what it was when we first started getting, Facebook or internet leads. Times have changed. So paying, let me just say this. Paying $30 to, even the TV leads are $50 to $80. It just, worth it. Especially for a new agent, it just doesn't math. It just, I don't care if you're at IMO level commissions. It just doesn't math for most people. Now there's some people that can make it work, but it doesn't work. All right. CRM and dialer. So let's say I'm kind of new and, I know that you work with a lot of different agents that work with different agencies and some of them have their CRMs and dialers, but let's say I don't have one, right? I'm a new agent. I'm just getting into this business and I want to come work with Amplify Life.
Mm-hmm.
What CRM and dialer system are you recommending or talking to the agent about?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is also like I give you the play-by-play inside the entire course, the training. And then I have the links. So it's very easy. You click on it, you enroll with it, you activate it, and all the workflows are in it. So with the CRM that I use, it is a white label, go high level, which most all CRMs in life insurance is a white label version of go high level, meaning everyone's using go high level. They just have different colors, to them, or a different logo in the upper corner. And they have different workflows, and the bot is trained differently. So in the CRM that we use, a white label version of it, however, it has the workflows and the bot that I use. So I've put pressure on this bot. It's the workflows that I use to keep everything very structured and very organized. I have the pipeline set up. So folks who come into my community, I have the training on how to in the CRM, and you will learn exactly what I do. Like, you will just follow my systems, and I tell you step by step what to do, and when to do it in that order. And then also I use the integration of the Wave dialer. I've used many dialers. Wave by far is my most favorite, and it has a beautiful integration with Go High Level, to where I literally have my pipeline structured to where when you call in your new lead pipeline, if they don't pick up, they get moved and shifted and massaged from all of their call attempts until they become old leads, so that you're never lost in the sauce. You can always see and stay on top of like the person who just raised their hand for the information. There's automations to send you text messages like, hey, speed to lead. This one just came in, so stop dialing in pipeline 4, get to the person who just submitted the form. So it's, all that stuff, the CRM and the dialer, I train on it, and it's inside of the mentorship.
Excellent. Now we talked about I think, I can't remember how we addressed it, but at one point we mentioned, that good feeling that an agent gets when they sell something, or that when they see their sales on the leaderboard. That's what we were talking about. Yeah. The leaderboard, they get that high. So I can tell you from being, 30 years in sales, I know that high, but from a sale, like coming out, when I used to sell stamped concrete, coming out of the house with the check and the contract, and I'm like trying to hold my energy down till I get in the car, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. So how exciting is it when you see an agent that's coming along and they start to have success?
Oh, that's a joyful. So it's like when I make a sale, I get that dopamine drop and like that ego boost. But when agents start to make sales for me, it's a joyful feeling, because I'm impacting someone's life. I remember one of my first agents when I had started mentoring and helping, and he was struggling. He was very inconsistent with, making sales. It was kind of like, I'm throwing things at the wall. Do they take the quote? Do they not? And then, by month 3, he had a 40K month, and it was so impactful for him, because he was like excited. He's like, man, this is wash, rinse, and repeatable. Like, I got it. It clicks. It was hard at first, but man, this makes sense. And I stepped back and I said, oh my gosh, I helped another agent earn $40,000 in 1 month. Like, I've literally changed his life. And it brought me so much joy. It's like I got like hungry for it. And then I was looking around at the industry, and I'm like, there's a gap here. And there is money to be made, and people can literally change their life. But the system is so broken that there's a reason why they say 8% nation. 92% of agents fail. And it's not because necessarily of the agent. I was about to fail out, right? It was the system at large. It was the lack of training. Like, you come in and you're told just to buy leads, hit the phones, and figure this thing out. But there's a systematic approach to it. Like, you just can't figure it out. You got to follow the leader. So yes, it's joyful, I say, is my word.
Perfect. Look, and I've been doing this for years. It is the ultimate runner's high when I see, especially when that agent, just starts has that first day where they make 3 sales.
Oh, yeah, those are fun. Those
Excellent.
are fun.
Ashely, thank you so much for joining me. That was some really good stuff. I think we're going to do this again, hopefully.
Sure. Yeah. Anytime. Yeah. And I definitely encourage any agent listening to this in the comments below. If there's anything that you're like, hey, I want to know more about that, 100%, Doug and I will talk more about it. So drop a comment below and let us know.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey,
welcome.
Great one. Have a killer day. We'll talk later.
Yes, you too, Doug.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.